Hello everyone and welcome back to my Days of Our Lives 21 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I, like a lot of folks, have been floundering with the strike material the once many months, but now, with a film of a switch, it's all over. By all accounts, a lot of it's going to be swept under the hairpiece, so for this medium, rather of just talking about the week on Days of Our Lives, how about looking back over the strike and trying to figure out what's being tossed and what's staying? Well, head writer Ron Carlivati promised that when his material started raising formerly again, we'd write down, and he wasn't wrong. Friday's occasion started with Leo being beyond catty about how terrible the spectators' jotting had gotten. It was a not at all veiled reference to the show's jotting, and it actually fulfilled commodity that surprised me. I felt kind of bad. For better or worse, the strike pens were there to keep the show in product and running so that it could survive. And yes, I realize I'm saying this having been veritably critical recently of the stories. I'm thrilled we eventually once, but I don't know how important of my frustration was the temp pens being told to decelerate walk effects in the expedience that the strike would be over snappily. It was end. With that said, there was also a lot of inconsistent characterization and attention to history that was driving me crazy. And radioactive Snow Paulina needs to be cancelled from actuality. Also, there was Sloan, each over the chart. She went from hopeless for a baby, to resentful of Jude and being a mama, to unintentional to lose him, to running off with EJ's plutocrat. With her gone, Eric handing Jude to Nichole and EJ while they gabbled about what happened at the frontal door was similar a snooze fest. It would have made more sense for the Nichole/Sloan fight to come before the baby rape ran off, but the returning pens made it work. Also, thank you for throwing Nichole stealing Sammy's baby back at her. Not that it makes what Sloan did okay, but history is still history. But how presto will EJ's colluding be undone? Sloan sounded to show up at Nichole's to tell her about Eric. And now that Eric walked in, come on Sloan, do the right thing. Personality switch. I know not everyone watched about Everett. New character? No thank you, Joe and / or ma'am. But back when we were figuring out what was going on with him, I virtually broke out the popcorn every time I was watching. Okay, I wasn't relatively that agitated, but it was delightful to figure out who he was, what was going on, and how that tied into the oil. And also it dragged on. And faded for weeks at a time. And dragged on some further. By the time Marlena came to the shocking we tell you, conclusion that Everett had did, my popcorn had gotten banal. Worse, I couldn't help wondering what the point was. Beverett was just writing papers. Bobby wasn't involved in anything unrighteous. There was no connection to the medicine ring flashback when I allowed. That might be been a thing. And about the only thing he did was hit on women. But also on Friday we got further excitement than we've in periods, with Everett switching to Bobby before our eyes and doing battle with Jada, Stephanie and Marlena. And there were little traces like Jada, who's both a Bobby. And knows how bad Bobby can get, indeed if we do'n't. Stepping protectively between her partner and Stephanie when his personality switched that were phenomenal and so organic to the situation. While I've no idea what the original intention for Everett was, mellowing multiple personalities is going to be a bit more delicate. But I've a feeling he'll be integrated enough infernal presto to get back on track with his original purpose. I nearly feel bad for Teresa being so unconscious to Alex cheating on her, because I suppose she does watch for him. But any character growth that Alex may have had was undone these once many months. He's nearly worse than ever now that he's got his money, however. Anticipate the returning pens to set him straight again, if he's being kept around. I can't tell from spoilers coming week if he and Kristen decide to stop their affair or stop hoping to make Brady and Teresa jealous and commit to each other. But I'm guessing this open relationship is going to end. Constantine bounced from Muddy Khan to aspiring supervillain to an attempt at humanizing him with the loss of his son. It's all been a mess as the card went nowhere. The pawn stuff went nowhere and Feed on Maggie dragged on far too long. We've been assuming over whether Katharina is really dead or Constantine's woman ran off with her. And my studies? The new pens wa'n't watch. Constantine's about to go and his family will no way be mentioned again. And I hope they change whatever's planned for the marriage to oust Constantine. I'm sorry, but I abominated just about everything that was done with this. Let's get Xander his fortune and Maggie secure in hers and move on. They started working Lee's murder. But I'm going to take a stab in the dark then and say making that creep Gil Lee's killer wasn't in the plan. So that's gonna get dropped, which is easy enough to say was just wild guess. Rather, I still supposedly faked his death with the help of either EJ or DR. Rolf or both. But Clyde, please for the love of God, probably didn't really have anything to do with it. Johnny and Chanel's baby is going to be just fine. While I suppose it really would be great to point a heritage character with an inheritable complaint like Down pattern, I have a feeling the returning pens will want to just ignore the radioactive stuff. Pulling that story in particular to mock made it clear how Carlavati feels about it. And the Horton fire was, as Susan Seaforth Hayes said, a product directive so they could rebuild the set easier to put up and take down. But that time capsule has gone so absolutely nowhere. I am wondering if it was also handed down for the temps to put in, also lay off of until Carlavati and Platoon returned. Or the strike pens didn't indeed have an indication what they were doing, and it'll just be forgotten. Who knows? Bright spots. With all of that said, there was some good stuff. I was substantially having a blast back in February sweeps. They revealed that Bobby and Everett were the same person, back when I was agitated to find out what was going on. Xander was framed for shooting Harris. Why did he come back this week? And the early medicine stuff with Holly's overdose, Tate and Nichole's anguish, and Teresa flashing back she had a son and minding for him made for darn good TV. Oh, and I was and still am thrilled beyond measure that the Holly/Johnny crush was dropped around when the strike mega hit. Please do and pick that back over. Especially since we've gotten factual teen scene structure. Slapdash studies Kristen calling stealing a child just pure wrong, is laugh out loud ridiculous. Flashback how creepy she was when Tate came to visit Holly. You know, the baby she ripped out of Teresa's womb to give birth to? But I can see her being that much of a fraud. All that talk with Stefan about Teresa being a part of the Brady family eatery dynasty, and Stephanie being her kinsman really makes me wish they ever had her interact with her family. I appreciated Bonnie seeing Teresa write down as the same gold digger she was and telling her, just so long as you love him as much as his plutocrat. Actually, that's show. What do you suppose? How would you rate the strike jotting? Are you agitated it's over or nervous for what's to come? Let me know below. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, June 3rd hint that the week in Salem will protest off with a bang, and suckers should anticipate some intriguing and explosive moments. One character has an outrageous idea as per the usual, while another is set to pay the price for their conduct, and someone stops their mate as they try to leave city. What's set to unfold during Monday's show? Time to dive right in. Kristen DiMera's over-the-top idea duel spoilers for Monday, June 3rd suggests that Kristen DiMera will propose an outrageous idea to Stefan DiMera. Trending. Days of Our Lives spoilers new couple alert. Will Stefan and Teresa hook up? These two have their sights set on recovering control of DiMera Enterprises, while also getting Gabby Hernandez DiMera, last played by Camila Banus, out of captivity. What will Kristen propose? Suckers will have to tune in to find out. Rafe Hernandez won't let effects go across city. Days spoilers for Monday, June 3rd indicate that Melinda Trask is about to pay the spotted piper for her part in Jude's hijacking. Added teasers reveal that Rafe Hernandez is determined that she not get down with what she has done. But does he have the evidence he needs to bring her down? Days of Our Lives spoilers Eric Brady stops Sloan Peterson Brady in her tracks incipiently. Dual spoilers for Monday state that as Sloan Peterson Brady tries to escape city, Eric Brady will stop her before she flees. Sloan agreed to unmask the half-verity about Jude, as EJ DiMera agreed to fund her getaway. However, will all bets be out? If she doesn't escape Salem and Eric hauls her into the police department.